Arjun Erigaisi has crossed 2800 elo in live ratings in chess. Fantastic piece of news. And just to put things in perspective, there have been only 16 players in the entire history of chess who have crossed 2800 elo, at least in live ratings. Arjun becomes the second Indian after Vishwanathan Anand to have achieved this historic feat. And I'm going to show you the game in which Arjun was able to win, and that helped him to cross this 2800 elo mark. Let's get started. So Arjun plays the move e4, to which we have c6 on the board, and after d4 we have d5. This is the Caro-Kann defense we have on the board, and with the black pieces is playing Dmitry Andrekin, a very strong grandmaster from Russia, 2700 plus. So we have a very strong contest here. d5, e5 Arjun plays, and this is the advanced variation of the Caro-Kann. Now black strikes with the move c5 at this pawn on d4. Arjun takes, okay, free pawn. But no, black plays e6, aiming to capture this pawn. So Arjun says, let me play the move a3. Now the idea of this a3 move will be clear to you soon. There comes bishop into c5. There is knight f3 on the board, developing the piece as you should. f6. Black is like, okay, if you take e into f6, I'm very happy. My knight will come out into the game. But Arjun says, no, wait. I'm going to play this move b4, kick away your bishop here. And after this bishop goes back, I'm going to play bishop b2 and strengthen my control on this e5 pawn, so that your knight cannot come on f6. Okay, it has to stay on g8, it has to stay undeveloped. Black is like, okay, now I'll play a5 and attack this pawn. What are you going to do there? Arjun's like, okay, I'll play b5. But in doing so now, he has given up this c5 square to any of black's pieces. It can be the bishop. In the future, it can be the knight. So right now, black plays the move knight d7, putting more pressure on this pawn and also eyeing this c5 square. Arjun decides, okay, I need to develop my pieces. So he plays bishop d3. And now black is like, okay, this knight cannot come into the game, so let me develop it from h6. I have some other idea for the knight. Now Arjun plays queen e2, protecting this pawn. And you can see all of white's pieces. They are really making sure that the e5 pawn is very well protected. There comes the move short castle. Black gets his king to safety. Arjun decides, okay, it's time to strike in the center now and play the move c4. He is creating more tension in the center. Now black plays the move knight f7. So you have these two knights and this pawn as well that is looking at this e5 pawn. Okay, so Arjun has to make a decision in the center. So first he takes c into d5, and now black takes knight into e5. So that if you cannot take d into e6 here, because otherwise you'll lose this knight, this bishop, and that would not be fun. You'd be a piece down. So after knight into e5, white takes, black takes, Arjun takes. Now black has this ugly pawn structure in the center, and Arjun has a very interesting move here. He could go d6 and he could say, okay, I'm going to give you these two ugly pawns. Yes, I'm down a pawn, but you have these two ugly pawns, and after knight c3, knight e4, I'm going to have a very solid control over the center, whereas you have a very ugly pawn structure. However, Arjun doesn't play that. He plays here knight c3. And you may think this is a free pawn. But no, it's not a free pawn, because Arjun takes knight into d5. And if you think you can play queen into d5, you can't, because after bishop c4, you lose the queen. So be tactically alert. Don't make these mistakes. Knight into d5 played, attacking the bishop. The bishop goes to c5. Now there is a threat of bishop into f2. What do you play? Yeah, you castle. Anytime there is an attack on this f2 pawn, a very good way to defend against it is by castling, so that your rook also comes and strengthens this pawn. Castling played. Now there comes the move bishop e6, attacking the knight. What do you do with the knight? Okay, so Arjun plays the move knight e3, and he sets a very cunning threat. Can you see the threat? So the threat here is to play bishop into h7 check, king into h7, and queen c2 check and queen c5. Okay, and with this little threat, Arjun would win a pawn. So black is of course not going to fall for it, because black is a 2700 player, not a 1000 rated player. So after knight e3, black plays the move bishop d4. Not the best move. That's what my computer friend says. Instead of this, it would have been better to play a move like, let's say, queen e7. Okay, queen e7, just to keep this bishop protected. Or you could also play king h8. Okay, this could also be a very interesting move to make, because after bishop h7, there is bishop e3. This is what my computer friend suggests. Okay. But of course, you cannot ask your computer friend for help during the game. You're on your own. So instead of this, black decided to play the move bishop d4 here. Now Arjun played the move queen h5, and there is a checkmating threat here. So black has no time to capture the rook. So black plays g6, defends the threat. But now Arjun takes on g6, and you cannot take back like this, otherwise you'll lose this bishop. Like check, 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 lose this bishop, and you have so many pawns down. This king is literally naked. You know, it's gonna die naked. So that's why after g6, bishop into g6 may look like black situation is scary, but black, obviously a strong player, knows how to defend. He goes queen e7, defends this pawn, keeps this bishop eyeing this a1 rook, and now Arjun plays the move bishop e4. And it looks like he has given up this exchange, but in the game black didn't take it. He played something else, and I'll show you what that is. And I want to highlight an important psychological concept that many of these top players will use. So what happens after bishop a1 is you lose. Yes, you win an exchange, but if you are black, you also lose an important bishop that was putting a lot of pressure on this diagonal. And now there are so many weaknesses in surrounding this black king. Let's say you even decide to trade queens like this, for example. White is able to win a pawn, and this endgame, it is not so easy to play as black practically, because there are so many weak pawns, you have so many weak squares, plus white's knight and bishop are fantastically positioned. So you don't want to play this with black. So maybe because of that, black didn't want to give up this strong bishop on d4, which is exerting a lot of pressure here. And instead, black decides to go rook f4. And this is where black is like, okay, I want to keep my strong pieces and I want to really take control of the initiative. I want to play a game in such a way that I retain control. I don't pass the control to white. Okay, so top players are very, very good at that. They will always choose control over, gaining material for material's sake. So rook f4 played, attacking the bishop. Arjun goes bishop d5. And there comes the move rook a f8. And now there are two rooks, all of them looking at f2, looking very nice. Arjun takes the time to save this rook, goes rook a e1. And Andrekin plays king h8, tucks his king away. Now Arjun plays g3, asks this rook what the rook is doing. So the rook drops back. Now we have a few exchanges, and Arjun plays the move rook e2. So you have to, Arjun is defending very, very solidly. He's making sure this f2 pawn is very well protected. That's why rook e2. Now there comes the move b6. And this bishop is kind of annoying here. So Arjun plays knight c2, kicking this bishop from this d4 square. Now black goes bishop b2. And this may not be the most accurate move according to my computer friend. Not me. Okay. My computer friend here suggests to put this bishop on c5. The idea is from here, the bishop looks here and also on this diagonal. So this is a much, much better square than b2. Plus on c5, it's also protected by this pawn. So this would have been a much better move. Instead, black goes bishop b2. And there comes the move queen h4. Now after queen h4, there comes queen d5, attacking this b5 pawn. So Arjun decides to save it with the move a4. But now there comes the move rook f4. But hey, isn't that a blunder? Like, what will happen after g into f4? No, like pay attention, be tactically alert. Okay, there is rook g8 and you just lose the game. So you don't want to lose to such, you don't want to take such poisonous sacrifices. Arjun plays queen h6, rightly so. And now black plays the move queen c4, and suddenly it looks like this rook is attacked, and if you move it, you could lose this knight. So Arjun has to play queen h5 and protect this rook. But now there comes the move rook 8 f5, attacking the queen. Now once again, if the queen moves, let's say somewhere, you are losing this rook. But Arjun finds the best move to keep his advantage. He goes knight e3, attacking the queen and the rook. And because of this move, we have a series of exchanges. We have take, 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 and black is able to regain his pawn back. We have reached an endgame with two rooks. Okay, both sides have two rooks. And if you want to understand what is it that is the dream scenario for two rooks in any endgame, just take a look at this game. Okay, in a few moves you'll find out. So first, Arjun plays the move rook c2, activating the rook, getting this rook on an open foil. And now black plays the move e4. And eventually this move leads to black's loss. Okay, the point was black didn't have to play a move like e4. Instead, he had to play something like rook f5. And after white goes rook d1, trying to activate his other rook, black will play rook d4. But instead, black doesn't play that. He plays the move e4 here. And now after e4, Arjun plays rook d1, activates his rook. And now there is nobody who can stop this rook from landing inside. Both these white rooks from landing inside the black territory. Black takes the pawn on b5, and now Arjun plays a very, very nice move here, demonstrating what these two rooks love. They absolutely love. First, he puts this rook on c7. Now there is a threat of checkmate here. So Andrekin plays rook g5. Defends this. If there is any time a threat here, he's going to defend with the rook to g8. Arjun plays h4. Kicks the rook g4. Now there comes rook g8 check. Sorry, now there comes rook d8 check. The rook drops back and there is rook d7. And this is the dream scenario for two rooks. These two rooks on the 7th rank are very, very dangerous pieces. Like so dangerous that just these two alone can create a lot of mating patterns, mating threats around this black king. Right now there is a checkmate threat here. And let's say black plays a move like rook e8. There is rook h7 check. King moves, and it looks like, this king cannot be checkmated if you keep giving all these checks. But here there is an important pattern that white has. White can push this pawn, and let's say black goes here. White can push this pawn all the way up to h6, protect this rook, and now there is a threat of checkmate. Okay, so these two rooks on the 7th rank, supported by just one pawn somewhere, can be very dangerous. So instead of playing rook e8 here, black decides to go rook to g4, and so that anytime white gives a check, this rook will always drop back. Now Arjun plays rook h7 check, king g8, and now plays rook d7 again. Once again there is a threat of checkmate because now the rook can't come back, so black is forced to go king h8 back. Now there comes the move king g2. Very nice move. I like this move. And these are the kind of moves, that demonstrate so much class and so much control. King g2, very nice move, improving the position of the king for once. There comes the move rook b4. Now Arjun goes king h3, attacking the rook. Where does the rook go? The rook goes back to g6. Arjun pushes the pawn to h5, attacks the rook. Rook g5, attacks the pawn. But the pawn marches all the way to h6. And you may think, well, aren't you winning the pawn after rook h5 check? Because after king g2, rook h6, right? But no, of course, don't blunder such checkmates because rook d8 would end the game. Black plays the move rook b1. Now there is a threat to come here, and this rook will capture this h6 pawn. So that this rook is always there to defend any checkmate ideas. But now Arjun plays the move h7. And if you give rook h1 check, this king simply comes to g2. You cannot take this pawn since it's protected by two rooks. And there is a threat of giving rook c8, checkmating the black king. Seeing that there is no way to escape, black resigned and Arjun crossed 2800 elo in live ratings for the first time in his career, and it's gonna be a very, very long ride. I'm sure he's gonna go even further from 2800. Maybe he will catch up with Magnus Carlsen's record of 2882. Maybe not. We don't know. But let's see. It's a very exciting journey for sure. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Thank you very much. Bye bye.